Hello, and welcome to Game Waves, a show about board games because all of my brain waves are dedicated to board games. Anyways, this show is just going to be about that. Every episode is just going to be on something different. Sometimes it'll be a top 10, sometimes it might just be a topic. And I'm going to try as hard as I can to not talk as fast as I can. It's going to be difficult though. Anyways, the first episode here is about gateway games or welcoming games. Basically, if you've never played a board game or you want to try something new but you don't have a lot of expertise at it, this is a list of games that are fun for both the newcomers and those who are teaching. There's other lists you can find online which are basically the best intro games for people who have never played, but this list implies that also people who have played games find them fun. So here we go, my top 10 gateway or welcoming games. First up is the honorable mention of Space Base. It was designed by John D. Clare. Its main mechanisms are luck mitigation and engine building, and games I find similar to it are Settlers of Catan and Machi Koro. Now first of all, you can look at it right away and say this is not Catan. And you're right, it's not. The reason why I compare it to Catan is my favorite mechanism in Catan is the fact that when someone rolls dice on their turn, everyone gets a benefit. That mechanism is in this game. However, you're not working with sheep and bricks and stuff. Instead, you're launching ships out into space that all have numbers on them. As the dice pass around, when it's your turn, you roll the dice, get your benefits, so does everybody else, and then you buy one card. That card will then alter your board. You decide every game which number you want to lean on. Do you want to be chancy and lean on 12, which has the cards with the biggest rewards, or do you want to go for the lower numbers, which are more common? The reason why this is an honorable mention is you can tell by looking at the pictures of the shop, which is 30 cards by the way. This might not be best for new gamers, but if they've played Catan before, I definitely suggest Space Base. I like it a lot more. Next up is Betrayal at the House of the Trail of the Hill. You know what? I don't know the name of it, but you know what I'm trying to say. I don't even actually own this game. I own the Legacy version, which I like a lot better. Either way, this one is designed by Bruce Glasgow, Rob Davio, and 3 other people. Its main mechanisms are exploration, one versus all, and push your luck. And games that I find similar to it are Hero Quest and Mansions of Madness, which I'll talk about later. In Betrayal of House on the Hill, you start off on a team, but as you explore the house, random tiles will be flipped over, meaning that every time you play this, you're going through a different house. That's pretty cool. That's a mechanism that's actually used in a lot of games, and this is a great way to learn that some board games just have wild board placement that you will never see in another version of the same game. The reason why it's my number 10 is one person halfway through is going to become the villain. It could be the new person. That person's going to get a little book of new rules, and they're going to go away into another room while everybody else sits in this room and reads the new rules for them. It's that person versus everyone who stays together. It's really fun. It's really thematic, which is why it's a great gateway game. In addition to somewhat complicated mechanisms, people just love looking at the house. They love drawing the items and knowing they're being haunted and knowing that a werewolf's about to come kill them. But anyways, my number 10 is Betrayal at House on the Hill. Yeah, that's how you say it. My number 9 is Mansions of Madness. Designed by Corey Knizika, its main mechanisms are exploration, co-op, and dice combat, and games I find similar to it are Betrayal, which you just saw, Arkham Horror, and Return to Dark Tower. Now, yes, those are all similar, but this one is all on its own when it comes to how great it is. So in this game, you have a developing board just like Betrayal was, but it's not random. Instead, there is a free app that you can download with this thing, and you can project to your TV, which is the only way that I play it, and the TV will tell you how to develop the house. There is a story, there's voiceovers, you're interacting with people, they move around. New players will also learn about gathering items and becoming asymmetrical, working how to work as a team. The game doesn't really, in my opinion, suffer from something called the quarterback effect, which is where one person just does everyone's job, like in Pandemic. But yeah, it's better than Betrayal. It's more complicated than Betrayal with that app going on, but it is super fun thematically. Next up, we have Architects of the West Kingdom, which I don't own nor am I holding. Instead, I just wanted to hold the box, so I grabbed Paladins of the West Kingdom, which is nothing like Architects. Anyways, Architects of the West Kingdom was designed by Shem Phillips, S.J. McDonald, and its main mechanics are resource management and worker placement. Games I find similar are Lords of Waterdeep and Raiders of the Lost Sea. Now, Architects, like I said, is a worker placement game. Everyone has their own workers, and there'll be a main board. On your turn, you'll take one worker and you'll place it on the board. The location you choose is based off whatever you want to do. The catch is that a lot of worker placement games restrict, including Lords of Waterdeep, which is usually said to be the best gateway worker placement. I don't agree. I think Architects is better. Because in Architects, there's no limitations. If someone goes to the spot you want to go to, you can still go there. So you still get your stuff and you don't get frustrated. And the next time you go there, you get more wood because your previous meeple's there. The idea is that you send all your workers out and they work together to get you lots of resources. What makes this game great is the way you get punished for doing this. Someone on their turn, instead of going to get resources, can instead go to basically, I think it's called the City Hall or something like that, where they choose a location on the board, they pick a color, and they gather all the meeples of that color. If it's their own meeples, they get to pick them up and put them in different places and basically do different jobs. But if it's their enemy, they take them and put them in their little arrest station. So you can send lots of workers to one spot to get lots of resources, but a player might arrest you. It teaches them to pay attention to other players and basically how to gather resources, and it teaches them worker placement. But yeah, Architects of the West Kingdom, not Paladins of the West Kingdom, my number 8. Number 7 is Dominion, one of my favorite games of all time actually. It was designed by Donald Vaccarino. Its main mechanics are deck building, and games I find similar are Star Realms and Vikings Gone Wild. And though yes, they're similar, play Dominion first. So Dominion is considered to be the father or the grandfather of deck building games. There are technically games that came up before it, but this was the one that became famous. Dominion is simply nothing but deck building. That means that everyone starts off with 10 cards, and they all are the same cards. There's a shop in the middle of the board. The cards in your deck will be used to buy cards in the shop and add to your deck. You are altering your deck in a way that you choose, and so are other opponents. It's all about comboing. You buy certain cards that combo good with other cards, and you play them out, and you're basically just trying to get enough money to buy victory points to win the game. It's also a shorter game. It's also, it has a whole bunch of cards so that shop I talked about is different every game. A lot of replayability, and it really teaches you the base mechanics of almost every other deck builder out there. And I gotta say, almost every time I teach this, someone's jaw drops when they watch how the game works, just building a deck in the middle of the game instead of coming to the table with one like Magic the Gathering. It's so cool if you've never played it, and that's Dominion. My number 6 is Azul. This game was designed by Michael Kiesling. Its main mechanics are set collection and comboing, and the games I find similar to it are Sagrada and roll and write style games. Now right off the bat, Azul is going to be hard to explain because it is an abstract game. But basically what you're trying to do is on your board you have two sides. The left side is plain and the right side has all these colors on it. The idea is to collect tiles from the middle of the table, put them on the plain side until they fill up those rows. You notice there's 5 rows of 1 through 5. So if you fill up that 4th row with 4 red tiles, you'll take one of those tiles and you'll put it on the red square on the right. When you place it on the right, you score points, and you get more points the more tiles it touches. So wherever you start to fill in, you want to keep filling that in for more points. If you've never played a modern board game, Azul is a great one, and it's my number 6. My number 5 is Sheriff of Nottingham. I don't think you're going to see this on many other gateway game lists. Sheriff of Nottingham was designed by Sergio Halaban, Andre Zatz, I think I'm saying them correctly. The main mechanics are bluffing, set collection, and push your luck, and games I find similar to it are Cockroach Poker and Chinatown, which you probably haven't heard of either one of those, but let's get on to this one. So Sheriff of Nottingham is a game in which the sheriff of the town rotates among the players. Everybody else has a hand of cards that are simply apples and chickens and meat and basic goods you would use in a medieval town. The idea is to get these goods into the town. You have a little bag, and on your turn you look at your hand and you put cards that you want into the bag, and you're going to hand it off to whoever is the sheriff. The sheriff will have all of the bags of all the players, and in any order he wants, he will look in the bags. Well, before he looks in the bags, He will look at the player with the bag in hand and he'll say, "What's in this bag?" And the player then has to say something. They're either going to lie or they're going to tell the truth. So the player might say, "I have 4 apples." If the sheriff thinks you're telling the truth, they give you your bag back, you open it up, and you take everything out, including all the apples and all the things you just snuck past him. But if he decides, instead of passing you, if he decides to open it, then if you were telling the truth, he owes you tons of money because you weren't lying, and you still get your apples back. But if you were lying, you must pay him and you lose all the bad stuff. It's really fun. It's kind of long, but it is worth your time, and the time will just fly past. But that's Sheriff of Nottingham, my number 5. Yeah, my number 4 is The Mind. It was a game designed by Wolfgang Warsch. Its main mechanisms are co-op, push your luck, and card deduction, and games I find similar to it are The Crew and Night of the Ninja. So The Mind is controversial, and I don't really understand why. I have never taught this game to anyone who didn't like it. But anyways, enough of that. So what The Mind is everyone starts off with a single card, and all of the cards are 1 through 100. There's no duplicates, so you just got to deck up 100 cards. The goal of the game is to put the lowest card face down first, followed by the next lowest and the next lowest. There are no turns, and you're working together. If it's correct, we go on to the next person. If they successfully lay all the cards face up from lowest to highest, we win the round and we go to the next round. And the next round adds another card. Everyone's got 2 cards, 1 through 100. Figure out how to lay them down from lowest to highest. You keep going. You can go as high as 12 cards at 2-player and as high as 8 cards at 4-player. And also probably my favorite game to bring to a bar because you can't hear anyone anyways. Might as well play a game where you can't talk. Anyways, that's The Mind, my number 4. My number 3 is Quacks of Quedlinburg, another game designed by Wolfgang Warsch. Its main mechanics are bag building and press your luck, and I'm guessing most of you have never heard of bag building. And games I find similar to it are Port Royal or Port Royale, I don't really know. But anyways, Quacks of Quedlinburg has nothing to do with ducks and everything to do with crazy people in Germany. Well, everyone's got a bag, and in the beginning of the game, everyone's got the same chits in their little bag. There are no turns. You just pull from the bag and put into your pot what you pull from your bag. You don't get a look, you just pull something random. In the beginning, almost everything in your bag is bad. So you pull as many as you can with trying not to explode. And if you manage to do that, you will earn money based off of your bad pull, and that money will be used to buy more chits to put into your bag. And this, from here on out, you're just buying good stuff. Basically, throughout the game, your bag just gets better. The bads never leave, but the goods increase, and you just pull without trying to explode. Now, there's a lot of rules because that shop has a lot of individual chits that are different every game, but I'm telling you, new players, pulling stuff from that bag is just so much fun. They get more money, you buy more chits, you try new things out, and everyone's got a good rounds and everyone's got bad rounds just due to the nature of random luck. Everyone loves this game, new gamers and old gamers, and that's Quacks of Quedlinburg. Number 2 is Just One. Yes, it's a party game, but it works with everybody. This game was designed by Ludovic Rowdy and Bruno Sauter. Its main mechanics are clue giving, deduction, and press your luck. Not sure if all of those are mechanics. And games I find similar to it are Taboo and Codenames. So first of all, Just One is a co-op game, co-op party game, co-op party word game. In this game, one player is going to get a word. They're not going to know what it is, but everyone else is going to see that word. Everybody else has a little whiteboard and a marker, and they're going to write a one-word clue to make them guess that word. If any clues are the same, the person who's guessing doesn't get to see the clue. You try to figure out the most obvious clue that the player can guess that no one else is going to write down. It's one of my favorite overall party games, regardless of being a gateway game. It's quick, it's fun, and it works with up to 7 players, so it's a good one, and that's Just One. And my number one favorite gateway game is Ticket to Ride. This game was designed by Alan R. Moon. Its main mechanics are set collection and hand management, and games I find similar to it are Transamerica and Empire Builder. Now, as you can tell by the cover here, that Ticket to Ride is a train game. It's one of the simplest and one of the best. Now, when I say simple, I mean this. On your turn, you're going to do one of three things. You're either going to draw 2 cards or discard the cards to then play train cards and claim routes. The object overall is to connect cities, and the cities are on your tickets. The third action is drawing more tickets to try and complete more routes. It's simple to learn, draw cards, play trains, or gain tickets, and so that's why Ticket to Ride is my number one. It's also fun for me to play. So yeah, my number one favorite gateway game, Ticket to Ride.